It is part 2. You have your financial goals. You are ready to figure out what your next steps are because you have due dates and you want to hit those goals. What is the next step? Well, today I'm going to be going over that. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon because part 3 will be coming out soon. And if you missed part 1, click the video right up here because you're not going to want to miss that. It's a very good starting point to figure out how we got to this part in the video, this part in the series, and yeah, let's just jump into it. So now that we have these goals, how do we get the money to reach these goals? Where's this extra $300 a month going to come from? Where's this extra $200 a month that I want to save in order to buy a house or pay off my debt or create an emergency fund going to come from? That is a good question, and that is exactly where we're going to jump into today's video. So first off, I'm going to need you guys to be making a note in a journal about what this step is, what part 2 is. It should be right after the first part that you wrote down in your journal or your notebook. And that's going to be opening up your bank accounts, opening up your credit card statements, pulling out all the receipts from your cash payments, whatever it is. We are going to be tracking all the expenses and income that is coming in the door so we can see where we can cut back to actually save that money and put that towards those goals that you set in part 1. So right now, go get all your bank statements, go get all your credit card statements and get all those receipts because you're going to want to start tracking them, and we're going to dive into that right now. We want to know where every single dollar that you are spending every single month is going. Is it going to coffee? Is it going to eating out? Is it going to rock concerts and your favorite sports games or going to the bar with some friends? I don't know where that's going, and that's up to you to figure out. So like I said, open up those bank accounts, open up those credit card accounts, those statements, and your receipts because we are going to track that and really dig deep to see where this money is going. We're going to analyze your tracking expenses and figure out how to create a budget. We're going to take all your transactions and categorize them into your wants, your needs, and your savings. That's what it is. It's a 50-30-20 rule. And if you're not sure what that is, I actually have a video right here, right behind this microphone, that can break down how to categorize that. But I'm still going to go over it today, just a brief explanation. But if you want it in depth, go check that video out. But yeah, you're going to categorize into a wants, need, and savings category. Your wants are going to be things that you don't actually need to survive, but you still spend money on. So that's going to be your eating out. That's going to be your coffee. That's going to be your subscriptions and your entertainment and your shopping and all that stuff. Then you're also going to see your needs. These transactions are going to be things that you need to survive. Your gas, your housing, your insurance, your grocery bill. All those things are needs because you need that in order to survive. If it's not something you need to survive, it's not Netflix. That's a want. It's not eating out. That's a want. It's not getting those new shoes. That's a want. If it's not needed to survive, then it does not go under the need category. And that's actually something that you don't have to spend every single month. And then the last category is going to be your saving/investing. Did you have a profit at the end of the month from your income to your expenses? Did you actually make money, or were you able to save money? Did you have a net positive at the end of the month? Because if you did, then that means you have extra income that you can save in certain areas. And we're going to jump into that right now. This is where you have to really hold yourself accountable. Sometimes it's hard because you want to justify the way that you spend money, the way that you create purchases. Why are you going to eat out? Is it because your coworkers said, "Hey, come eat out. Let's go get lunch, or let's go to happy hour and get drinks"? Is it because you were too lazy to cook or too tired to cook at your own house? Maybe it was because you were running late, but you still wanted the coffee. You still figured out ways to justify these purchases, and that's where you have to hold yourself accountable. Why? You don't need to. Maybe you just need to wake up 5 minutes early so you can brew your own pot of coffee. Maybe you get something easy to prepare because you're not a good cook, or you don't like cooking for 45 minutes to an hour every single night. This is where it's going to be really tough. It can get emotional. I know it can, because sometimes you spend money in places that you didn't know you were spending money, or maybe it was because you didn't know it was that much. Sometimes You spend way more money in categories that you thought you weren't. I've had times where I'm like, I probably only spent $150 eating out this month, but it was really $300. It was double what I was actually expecting because I was not accountable with my own spending. I got lost. I let it take control of me, and I thought I could keep track in my head, but that's just not the case. 99% of people can't keep track of their finances in their head because they don't know what's coming in and what's going out, because they're either just putting their card online, pressing a button to submit order, or they're swiping their credit card at the store, swiping their debit card at the store, and they're not actually seeing the cash go out. And then at the end of the month, they're like, where did all my money go? And it's because they didn't track it. They didn't know. They weren't aware. They weren't consciously spending, and they were just free, willy-nilly, buying whatever they wanted. So we're going to be honest with ourselves, and we're going to categorize every single transaction. Look at your housing. Look how much it costs for gas. Look how much your utilities are. How much are you spending on groceries? Put all those things in your needs, because if it is something you need to survive, that is a need. You're going to categorize all that in a need. Then you're going to take all the transactions that are wants. Remember, be accountable. What do you actually not need? What are the wants in your monthly spending? And you're going to write those all down in wants. And then the surplus or the negative is going to be your net profit / income for the month. And that should be your savings. The ideal situation would be to be saving around 20% of your income. So, for example, say we make $5,000 a month. We would want to be able to save around $1,000 every single month. And by saving that money can now go towards those goals that we set in part 1. We don't want to be carelessly spending all that money because we have extra money that we can spend on whatever we want. That's not the case. We want to put that money to work for us by reaching our financial goals. Maybe that's investing, or maybe that's creating that emergency fund that you've never had. Maybe it's paying off the debt that you have in being responsible with your finances. I don't know what that is, what your goal is, but whatever it is, that extra money could be going towards that financial goal that we set in part 1. Now, I know it can be difficult. It's a hard thing to look at, but this is where you have to be self-accountable, and I'm proud of you that you've made it this far. If you're liking this series, if you're liking this video, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, because part 3 is coming out soon, and you're not going to want to miss it. After we created the budget, what do we do now to actually reach our financial goals and set our financial future up for success? Remember, guys, you can do all things through Him that give you strength. See ya.